WWE turned
Jeez,
Chad
thank
Gable into
God.
Shorty G in 2019, and you could tell this was an original Vince McMahon idea. He probably could not stop laughing at the
So when he cut that promo, I was like, oh my God. I really cringed when he was like, I'm Shorty G.
Oh, what's up? Oh, what's up?
Yo, what up? It's Ahmadjay back in another video. Today we're going to be reacting to a video by Pelana. Still don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's just going to be in the description anyway. But it's just going to be a video on when wrestlers hated their gimmick. Essentially discuss this. LA Knight was really one of them because I know he did not enjoy that whole arc of just being a manager, bro. Like I said, Vince McMahon wanted Adam Cole to be a WWE manager, but you know, Adam took his chances and just skipped out of there. Glad he did. But yeah, a lot of people hated their gimmick, but what could they do? Because like they probably don't, especially back in the day, they thought this WWE was the only way to go. But recent times shown that like people are leaving and going on to, you know, to the next thing that they got planned. But yeah, it's been a lot of people, especially Dean Ambrose. I know he hated that whole gimmick. But don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and let's get it.
When LA Knight first got to the main roster, Vince McMahon did not see what was special about him. Therefore, he completely scrapped the character that he built in NXT, and he went from a trash-talking hybrid version of The Rock and Stone Cold to a model agent. He wasn't even wrestling, and his new role was managing Mace and Mansoor. It was horrendous, and LA Knight even admits that he was angry coming to work every week because of this gimmick.
I was hot every day coming in because I was not comfortable doing what I was doing. I felt like it was killing my career, if I'm being honest. And in that moment, I'm coming in such a bad mood. And then it started going in directions where I was like, this is gonna be awful.
The craziest thing about the story is that LA Knight was actually very close to getting let go from the company, but this is how he kept his job.
Then all of a sudden, in comes Maxine Dupree. Well, guess who got told that he didn't have to travel that week was me. And so it's like, once I found out that the models were still going and now she was coming in, I was like, oh, I'm gone. That was Wednesday. Thursday, Wall Street Journal, whatever the happens there. And then by Friday morning, it's like, oh, Vince McMahon is retiring, steps down. Triple H is the head of creative. And I'm like, there's a chance. And
yo, that's like lightning in a bottle of just God giving you a chance right there, bro. Like LA Knight dealing with the situation what he is dealing with right now, but at least that was like a, you know, a lob, bro. That was like an essentially like a lucky lightning bulb. Cause like if they were on the the verge about to replace him with Maxine Dupree, and like this was about to be like a point where he was about to get fired, which is probably most likely because it was Vince McMahon. If he didn't like you, or if he didn't see that you were doing a good job in that gimmick, you're gonna get fired. And at least this whole thing kind of worked out. Vince McMahon going out the company, Triple H giving, well, Triple H, like I said, Triple H is what it is. Have a relationship with well, you know, with LA Knight, but like at least he went back to his gimmick and it saved him.
Triple H was credit was just like, you got 5 minutes to FaceTime? I said, yeah, I do. And he was just like, what do you think about going back to LA Knight? And I was like, please, yesterday.
The timing was unreal, and thank God he did not get fired because he is very talented. But sadly enough, it seems like Hunter won't even pull the trigger on him and give LA Knight the push that he deserves. Don't get me wrong, it's still a lot better than the Max Dupree nonsense, but I think it is time for him to win the world title. In 1999, WCW had Rey Mysterio remove his mask, and according to Rey, the company was obsessed with just removing every luchador's mask at the time, and they also thought it would give him a fresh character. And while he did do some good work with the change, Mysterio was not happy with removing his mask.
When you do decide to take off the mask, I imagine was not what you wanted.
Not at all.
Rey said if it was up to him, he would not have ran this angle. To this day, he's still upset that he broke the Lucha Libre tradition because once you remove the mask, you cannot wear it again. However, he did ask the Lucha Libre commissioner for one more chance, and they gave him permission to bring it back, and the WWE turned him into a superstar ever since. Mysterio.
You see, that's like one thing I will like love about WWE sometimes is like if you're a Mexican like luchador and you're have to abide by those traditional things, they won't let you remove the mask. Thank God. They'll like like they'll take a mask away from Rey Mysterio or do something else from like from another point where it's like a gimmick thing where they take the mask and disrespect the luchador. They'll at least let them cover up. Sometimes mistakes happen like Kalisto, but at least they let them cover up and don't like make them take off their mask. WCW were dickheads for that. If I mean, he said they were like obsessed with taking away the luchador's mask. So that, well, like I said, I think ratings were that bad. They had to start like looking toward the luchador so they can take their mask off. Even though that gimmick by Rey Mysterio was like really entertaining because like Rey Mysterio was just that talented, and that was like the only time he ever turned heel, and that's some ball knowledge right there.
Was thrilled to wear his mask again. Before finding success and happiness with the Kane character, Glenn Jacobs had two gimmicks he did not love at all. The first one is the one that everyone knows about, Isaac Yankem. He was playing a scary monster-like dentist, and Kane says that he actually hung up the phone when Vince pitched this idea to him. Sadly, he had to suck it up for a year. What most people do not know about is his Christmas creature gimmick that he wasn't too happy with either.
What?
In his indie days, a promoter turned him into a Christmas-themed monster who sort of looked like the Swamp Thing, and that only lasted a few weeks, but Jim Cornette did say that Kane would get pissed off at anyone who brought up the character to him during the 90s. I guess the third time was the charm because he finally became the Big Red Machine after those failures. WWE turned Chad Gable into Shorty G in 2019, and you could tell this was an original Vince McMahon idea. He probably could not stop laughing at the new name that he created, and so Chad Gable was practically forced into playing a character that was just simply being bullied for being short. It was a very bad gimmick, and he
Oh my God. Chad Gable is just so talented, but when a wrestler's talented, it's really hard trying to, deal with Vince McMahon, bro. It's like an uphill damn battle. But like I remember this when he cut that promo, I was like, "Oh my God!" I cringed before in promos when wrestlers made them, but like I really cringed when he was like, "I'm Shorty G." I was like, "Yo, bro!" And this cornball ass shit was thought of by Vince McMahon. Only in Vince McMahon head is would he think this is corny. Like I will always stand on the mantra that like Vince McMahon and his like later days was just not the promoter he used to be.
hated it. This is what Chad said about the character.
Yeah, I've often said, I mean, probably to nobody's surprise, that was a pretty low point.
After some time, WWE gave him back his original character, and he hasn't been too successful, but his run has been a lot better than that Shorty G crap. In fact, he's coming off the best work of his career with the El Grande Americano stuff, and it's also looking like he's in position for a huge push. He would never be here if he was still Shorty G. When Kevin Owens won the United States Championship in 2017, he started calling himself the face of America, and KO did not like this gimmick change at all. He said he was trying his hardest to take inspiration from US political figures that spoke with smug, but he wanted to end it because he thought it was too repetitive. There's not much he could say other than that Americans suck, and he's a Canadian who's representing the United States with that title. To make things worse, he said that once Jinder Mahal and Rusev started running similar gimmicks, KO needed the character to come to an end, and it was probably for the better. That gimmick died quickly because it wasn't any good, and you could feel that it was being forced on him. Rikishi hated his heel turn in 2001, and part of it—
I'm not gonna lie, thank God he ended that, bro. I could not take Kevin Owens without a beard, bro. He just looks weird without a beard. Just like a lot of people that have beard look weird without one. I look weird without a beard. I mean, back in the day, I looked normal, but if I just cut my beard off right now, I fear I'll look weird.
was the fact that he finally got a character extremely over with the crowd, and then WWE basically forced him to drop it for a character that nobody really liked, including himself. The entire "I did it for The Rock" thing was not working. The other major reason that he wasn't happy with this gimmick was the fact that his merch sales did drop. He went from a popular babyface with a lot of merchandise to a villain that did not really connect with the audience, and I would be mad too if I was making less money playing a worse role. It's a good thing that his heel run did not last too long, and he went back to being the Rikishi that everyone loved. Everyone knows that—
I mean, he went back to the Rikishi, but like it put a taint on his career because like right now people still talk about this, bro. That was like such a miss. If like a person is like meant to be like a face for the rest of their career, let them be a face. But I know people, I know some shit gets old and I try to switch it up. Don't do it, bro. Sometimes they're better off just being the face, especially with the heel thing. Miz is always looked upon as like you have to hate the guy, but at the same time you respect him.
Cody Rhodes hated Stardust. When he first joined WWE, there was a lot of potential for him and becoming a main event star. It felt like he was finally heading to the world title, and he came very close to winning the Money in the Bank. And although he did come up short, you could tell that the fans were behind Cody Rhodes. And then all that momentum died the second that he became Stardust. He essentially went from a borderline main eventer to a jobber. Rhodes was stuck with this gimmick for more than a year when he finally asked for his release, and the first show he did after becoming Cody Rhodes again in the independent scene, he gave the character one last middle finger. Since returning to the company, he's won multiple WWE championships, so it's a good thing that he quit and bet on himself.
See, this is like a good thing and a bad thing, bro. Like, a good thing, he left the company, became the best, one of the best on the indie scenes, and came back and is like the face of the company now. And the bad thing was like you have nothing for a guy, you stick them in a duplicate, a duplicate gimmick. It's not even an original gimmick, it's like a duplicate gimmick of his brother. That's what I really hated about it too. Like, that had to be detrimental to it. You can't, and then like around this time his father passed away, and you can't like really mourn your father and give him the respect he deserved. Years later he gave the respect to his father he really deserved, but like back then he couldn't really do that because he was still under the guise of that damn Stardust gimmick.
When Austin made his WWE debut, he was the ringmaster, and the Gimmick was a wrestler who essentially perfected professional wrestling to the point where they became the master in that ring, and Austin hated it. He's gone on record to say that Gimmick was never going to make him a superstar, and Austin said he could not continue with it after 6 months of the character, and that is what made him come up with the Stone Cold name. And then he adopted a new rebel persona where he had some attitude to his character, and that is how he went from a character that he hated to one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And I think it's safe to say that he was right about not liking his original gimmick. Bray Wyatt also did not like his first gimmick. This is what Bo Dallas says Bray thought of the Husky Harris character.
He hated it. He hated it. He couldn't be more unhappy about the situation.
Can we blame him? First off, the name was no good. It was corny and took a shot at himself for being a bigger wrestler. But worse than that was the fact that
oh my gosh. And then they have him going around in like a Husky shirt. That's like some of the worst gimmick and like merchandise ever, bro. Like, I get like people have had like a dog or a wolf as their thing a lot, but it was like drawn in a cool way or did in a cool way. This is just like like making fun of somebody, bro.
he did not have any character. Husky Harris was a generic wrestler without any personality. Bray had every right to hate this gimmick, and when the WWE finally gave the man creative freedom, he created Bray Wyatt, and the rest is history. There is only one member of 3MB who liked the faction, and that man was Heath Slater. Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal both were not fond of the group. Someone from Reddit even says that they met Drew and they told him how much they loved his work with 3MB, and his reply was simply that it made one of them. It's clear that they both thought that they had more to offer, and being stuck in that group only killed their career. Therefore, McIntyre and Mahal decided to prove to WWE that they were better than 3MB. They both got jacked and later returned to the company to win the WWE Championship. Jinder Mahal's time at the main event scene did not last too long, but hey, at least he can say that he won the belt once. And
that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy as hell. He can say that he won the belt. Terrible fucking champion, though. But he can say that he won the WWE Championship, and this probably will never be done again because this is like a Vince McMahon era, and honestly, man, that really sucks. 2 out of the 3 of them won that because Heath Slater did not amount to trying to leave or go on the same path that they did.
Drew was able to maintain a spot at the top of the card for a much longer time, and I'm personally still waiting for Heath Slater to come back looking like a prime Triple H, ready to win the WWE title. Neville's original gimmick in WWE was the man who forgot gravity, and he was a pretty serious wrestler with an insane high-flying ability. That made him competitive,
that
and it
shit
worked
was...
in NXT, but then
Oh my god, bro, man, that shit. His finisher was just amazing, bro. I know a lot of people have tried to do that before, but every time Neville pulled that off, bro, it was just beautiful, bro. That's like one of the best finishers ever, bro.
WWE slapped a cape on him, turning him into a corny version of himself, and Neville has openly expressed that he was not a fan of this attire change, and he felt like he really did not need it, and it just looked goofy, and I can see why he felt that way. Triple H also felt the same way about an addition to his attire. After he won the King of the Ring, it's widely known that Hunter did not love the crown. He felt like it was only moving his character backwards. He was moving away from the corny gimmick, and he was becoming more edgy, and I can see how you couldn't take him too seriously with this thing on. That is why he even kept using the crown as a weapon, because he did not want to wear it any longer. And the last person in this video is Jon Moxley during his time as Dean Ambrose. He was not a huge fan of his run after leaving the Shield. The WWE turned him into a very goofy character, and that wasn't what Moxley wanted to do.
I mean, like I mean, he had some funny moments. I'm not gonna lie. I like Dean Ambrose as like a character. It was goofy, and like sometimes it wasn't. It was really weird as a gimmick because what they were doing with him. But like, I can get why he hated this character essentially. It really sucked. But like, I don't know. I just liked it around this time.
He wanted to be a serious, no-nonsense fighter. However, he was able to manage it because, you know what, he was a top guy on SmackDown, and the WWE title was around his waist. However, his patience grew thin, and by 2018, he was sick of his character change. The WWE made him play some sort of germaphobe character, and that was the last straw.
Oh,
Ambrose
God.
hated his gimmick so much that he no longer trusted WWE anymore, and he left the company and joined AEW to become the face of the franchise. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please
Honestly, yeah, I'm glad he essentially left too, because like it wasn't gonna get any better for him, or you know, better in any situation. Even probably what? No. Triple H would have probably pushed him. Triple H would have probably pushed him at least. He had some enough sense to, you know, push him. I feel like he would have gave him a chance. But yeah, like full of this, I like Ambrose as a character. I'm 2018. I really hated it, bro. Cause like they try to make him look bad. They try to make him wrestle Nia Jax. I know a lot of gender like type of things have happened before, but they were on the verge of trying to make him look like a punk. But yeah, a lot of these gimmicks were really need to be changed. Like, you know, Drew McIntyre leaving, Cody Rhodes leaving. They essentially came back to be some of the best, and I respect that. And I always respect a wrestler that like takes a chance and bet on themselves and, you know, leaves. You know, the company ends up wanting them back and willing to pay them top dollar to just, you know, come back to the company and, you know, actually do something for them and like, you know, show their talent off. But let me know what was your favorite on this list, and don't forget to leave a like, subscribe. The video is going to be in the description. We are on the road to 800. Let's see if we can make it by this. Probably not gonna make it by this one. Let's see if we can make it by next month. I mean, well, by the end of next month. But see you guys in the next video.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?